mindsetters, welcome to your Maths Lit Life Sciences. What am
No,
I saying now?
not Life Sciences, Looney.
I just said Maths Lit and then Life Sciences. I wanted to say live spring school lesson with Looney and John.
Looney, it's great to be with you this afternoon. And guys, thanks for joining us with Spring School. We've had an amazing day. Haven't
Yes.
you enjoyed today?
I have. It's been quite a fun day, John.
And
Very fun.
we've had some important visitors.
Yes.
So, guys, look out on the page. Looney there taken with the Minister of Education. How about that? So guys, remember that we're here to help you. We're here to assist you. Where can they get the notes?
All right, mindsetters, don't forget to hit us up on Facebook. It's facebook.com/LearnExtra. You can tweet us at LearnExtra, and you can get all the spring school notes, the videos, and the schedules on learn.mindset.co.za/extra/revision/spring school. And that is where you can get all the stuff for spring school. Remember to tell all your friends. Spring school is from today until the 12th of October from 10 till 7 in the evening. So make sure you are all tuned in. You're watching the shows. You're taking down notes because we're prepping you for your final exam because we want those distinctions. Done.
Absolutely. And guys, if you're at the other end and you're struggling, we're here to help you as well. So if you've really felt that your prelims went badly and you'd just like a little bit of extra help, hit us up, tune in. Don't forget, we're here to help you. Get connected. If you stay connected, you'll make it. I'm sure you will. Okay, so Looney, today what we're looking at is we're going to be looking at some questions from the exemplar paper, the 2014 exemplar paper. There are not a lot of questions that are caps aligned in other papers. Yeah, you can do the one or two, but this exemplar paper, it's been set up by the Department of Basic Education to tell you what you can expect in the end of year exam. So apart from the prelim paper, this is the next most important paper that you can go through. So that's why we're doing it. So we're going to take some questions from it. And I want to remind you, in paper 1, the topics are more or less the same as paper 2. It's just the level of difficulty that changes. So there's going to be a finance question. There's going to be a measurement question. There's going to be a data handling question. And somewhere in between there could be some probability thrown in. So that's what we're going to look at. Today we're going to cover finance. Oops, let's not go there. We've gone back a bit. Didn't get the pen out. So let's just cover what we're going to do. We're going to cover finance. We're going to cover measurement, and we're going to do some questions on data handling and probability. Now, in the last session, a lot of questions were asked about different things for life sciences. Guys, if you've got maths literacy questions, you know where to go. Go to the page, send a message to Looney, and I'll see if I can help you as best we can to make sure that you understand and are thoroughly prepared for your final exam. It's not a long time to go. Guys, you're writing in a couple of Mondays' time. The start is today is the 6th. You start in 3 weeks' time. You'll have written your first exam paper. Your English paper will have been written and gone by this time in 3 weeks' time. So it's not a lot of time. You've got to use your time wisely and make sure you get the most out of it. Okay, so let's get going, shall we?
Yes.
We all good? You good?
Yes, John.
Anybody got anything to say yet? No? Okay, let's go. So the first question that we're going to look at is a challenge question. Now, you know what? I've forgotten to put this on the page, but I think we can still do it. So here we go. We'll try and get it on the page in the break. So what it says is in 2012, the growth rate of the South African population was, look at it, minus 0.412%. Hey, you've got to highlight things when they look interesting or different. And for me, the thing that looks interesting and different there is that there's a minus sign, and then it's such a small number, 0.412%. We'll have to think about that. What we're asking you to do is to determine the population of South Africa in 2011 if the population was 0427 in 2012. So that's what it is in 2012, and we're asked to find what it was in 2011. Now, that's quite a tough question. Well, that's why it's a challenge question. So you need to think about it very carefully. They do give you some hints. They give you this idea. So use the formula that percentage growth is equal to the population in 2012 minus 2011 times 100 over 1 divided by population in 2011. So let's see if we can manage to get this sorted out. I'm not sure if we can. Maybe there's a little error in it. I'm going to go and have a look at it in the break as well. Just make sure we've got the right question. But I think we can do it. You see if you can. It's my challenge to you. So let's leave that alone for a minute and we'll put it up in the break. And let's have a look at question number 1. So question number 1 says the following. It says, Pansula, strange name, hey? Pansula is a dance company. I can see the pants and Sula, maybe something to do with salsa, but they're a dance company. And the company has a bank account with Sionga Bank. Never heard of them. The bank statements run from the 15th of the month to the 14th of the next month. So that's how they do their banking statements. Pansula's bank statement for a certain period in 2013 is shown below. So here we go. Here's the detail of it. And we're told that there's the details. Look at what it's telling you. There are the debits. That's like the withdrawals. There's the credits. That's like the deposits. This is the date that it happened on. And this is the balance. And here we've got a whole lot of information about things that have happened. And we take a look at them and we can see at the end there's another rolling column, that this money goes up and down and things get added, things get taken away, and we've got to make sense of it. Very, very practical. You're going to have to do this. Wherever you are, whoever you are, doesn't matter how clever or what you're going to do in the future, you're going to have to know how to read a bank statement. This is an important skill. So let's make sure we get it right. Next thing it tells us that the service fees are reflected on the day of the transaction, but deducted at the end of the month. So although it reflects a service fee, it's only deducted at the end of the month. And it's all put together. So they say service fee, and it's deducted and it's put together at the end of the month. So we understand that part of it. So now, what's the first question? It tells us to write down Pansula's bank balance on the 19th of the 4th, 2013. So let's go and have a look at the dates. And there we go, 19th of the 4th. And there we go, the 20th of the 4th. Now, the reason I'm pointing that out to you is there could have been some transactions that took place on the 19th of the 4th. And usually when they ask you in an exam question about the balance on an account, they're usually meaning at the end of the day. But if they wanted to, they could say at the beginning of the day. But usually we need to just check and say, is it the beginning of the day or the end of the day? Fortunately for us, we can see that there's been no change between the 19th and the 20th. So there was no question about, is it the morning balance, or is it the midday balance, or is it the afternoon balance? No, it's just the balance on the day. And so we can simply look at it, but have a very careful look at it. Guys, I know so many people, so many learners, they say, oh, this is easy. And then they forget to write down and copy down the right information. We know what the information we want. We want that number. But now let's write it down. It's 28,955 Rand and 47 cents. So 28,000 Rand. Make sure that you write it clearly. 955 Rand and 47 cents. And the reason that we know that that is the amount is because it hasn't changed on the 19th and the 20th. It was the balance brought forward for that period of time. That's where we're starting. That's what we're doing. No deductions on that day, and so we know we've got it right. So I've put it just above the question. I'm sure you won't mind about that. Then the next thing it says, determine the total amount deposited in Pansula's account from the 19th to the 2nd of May. So let's go and mark on our piece of paper what's been deposited. Now, a deposit is a credit. Credit means that not that we are loaning money, because we sometimes get that confused. A credit card, we're getting, but a credit, it means that it's coming to us. It is a deposit in us, in our favor. So what I'm going to do is over here is going to look for all the deposits. And there was a cash deposit. It tells us that that is a cash deposit there. It's under the credit side. Are we going to include this check here for check number 696? No, it's not. This is one of our checks, and it's taking money out of the account. So that's not one that we want to include. Now, look what the dates were as well. We want the deposits, and I mustn't make a mistake, from the 19th to the 2nd. So the first thing I'm going to do, and I should have done it earlier, is to say, I've got the 19th there, and I need to get all the deposits until the 2nd of the 5th. So all the deposits is up until that point there, 2nd of the 5th. So all of these things, that's a check, that's a cash deposit. What was this? This was a stop order from NGK. Now, is it a deposit? Well, we're going to have to accept the amounts that were deposited into the account. Yes, it was deposited. This is a cash deposit, even though it's a stop order. Stop order means it's an electronic transfer that happens every month. So NGK, whoever they are paying us some money on a regular basis. So it is a deposit. And then the next thing, here's another cash deposit. So what we're going to do is we're going to add up all the deposits. Notice the question didn't say the number of cash deposits. It said the total amount deposited. Total amount. So let's get our calculator out, and we're going to add these up. I would never try and do this in my head. Even if I was without it would be quite tough. You have to write it down underneath each other, add them up. Longhand, not a good idea. We've got a calculator, and we're very fortunate to have a lovely Casio calculator here in the studio. So let's go and get it out, and let's do it right now. So we've got the dates. We know we're in the right margin. So let's start. We're going to say, first of all, we're going to pick up that calculator, and we're going to say we're starting with a deposit of 2,239 and 10 cents. Plus, the next deposit was an amount of 3,100, plus the next amount 110, and we're checking the calculator against the numbers, making sure that we haven't made a mistake. Got it? And then the last deposit that we've got, reading down 1, 2, 3, 4, we've got a deposit of plus 500 Rand deposited into the account. And the total amount that we're going to get is 5949,10. So 5949,10, and we're going to write that down, having shown the working. It's very important that we do the working. Now, I haven't got time to do that. 5949,1 was what the calculator said, but because we're working with rands and cents, we can make it and 10 cents. And we know that. Please don't just give the final answer. Please, in your exam, make sure that you write it out and show the deposits equal this one plus that one plus that one, which equals the final total amount. Okay, I think we've got time for one last question, and here we go. It tells us to calculate the missing values A and B. So where is A and where is B? So here is A over here, and what does it tell us? It tells us that the original balance was 31,194 and 57 cents, and then there was a debit. That means we took out money. That's what we took out. The money that we took out, here we go, let's highlight it again, was 850 Rand. So to get my balance, I've got to take this amount of 31,194 and 57 cents and subtract my amount of 850 Rand and no cents. And when I do that, I'm going to again use the calculator to help me do it. So let's clear it. There's my working. This is how I would set it out. I want to subtract that amount and put it onto the calculator. So 3119 and 57 cents. Subtract 850 equals, and there we go, 226957. 226957. Okay, and so that's what number A is. And again, the setting out is very important. We're running out a little bit of time, so I'm not going to just repeat that, but you need to write down A equals this total. The last part, we want to get B done before we go to a break. We are going to go to a break in a few seconds. It tells us there's another debit. And take a look what we need to do. We now need to look at these two values. We started off with 379 Rand, 33,798 Rand and 11 cents. And we ended up with 33,540 cents. 40 Rand and 64 cents. So what's gone on? What happened? What's the difference between those two? Because whatever the difference is, that's what the answer to B is. Now, guys, I think that's a good opportunity to just stop. If you've got the notes, you can do it. Even if you haven't got the notes, here are the numbers again. 33,54064, 33798, they're the two numbers, and 11 cents. See if you can work out what B is in the break. Straight after the break, we'll give you the answer. Thanks, Looney.
All right, Mindsetters, let's take a very quick break and we'll see you straight after this. Welcome back, Mindsetters, from that break. Don't forget to tell your friends about Spring School because we're excited. We're helping you guys prep for the final exams. And remember, Spring School is today until the 12th of October to help you get those A's in your final exams because we love you very much and we got your back. And now John is going to take you through the lesson once more.
Guys, thanks so much. I've just sent Looney the challenge question. So in a few minutes, the challenge question will be up. Let's go and look at that answer. What did you get for B? Has anybody posted on the page what their answers were? Guys, hit the page. Let's see what you got for B as an answer. In the meantime, I'm going to move on to the next question, and we're going to see exactly how we're going to do with this question. Now, we've done A and B. We'll come back to that. Next question here is, wait a minute, let's just see if there wasn't another part to this question. Yeah, I knew there was. Okay, so 1.4. It tells us something interesting. It tells us that the service fee for depositing the amount of 2,239 Rand and 10 cents was 31 Rand and 74 cents. Determine the service fee as a percentage of the deposited amount. Okay, so guys, you can expect this. Percentage comes up everywhere. Now remember what we say. Percentage means it's a number divided by 100. So if it's 40%, then it's 40 divided by 100. If it's 80%, it's 80 divided by 100. Always got to remember, it means that percentage sign means divided by 100. If we want to find the percentage of something, so if we want to find, let's just do a silly example, 32 out of 40, and we want to know what the percentage is, then we say 32 out of 40, that's a fraction. We're going to multiply it by 100 over 1 because it gives us the percentage. Then we can write percent afterwards. So if I do this on the calculator, and I'm going to say to myself, 32 divided by 40 equals multiplied by 100. And see what that gives me? It gives me 80 But I don't just write down 80. I can write down 80%. Excuse me. So in the same way, we're going to tackle that problem as we see it. So what do they tell you? They tell you that the amount deposited was that 2,000 amount. So that's the big amount. We want to know, that's the denominator, that's the total. We want to know what percentage the service fee was. So it's 2,239 and 10 cents. And we were charged an amount of 31 Rand and 74 cents. We're going to multiply that by 100 over 1 and work out what the percentage is. If we didn't multiply it by 100 over 1, we'd just get a fraction, a decimal fraction that wasn't very useful. But because we're multiplying it by 100 over 1, it helps us compare, because people don't like things that come after the 0 comma. It becomes difficult to read. But by multiplying our 100 over 1, it's easier to make comparisons, particularly if the percentages are small. So let's get the calculator and let's try it right here. And there we go. 31,74 divided by the total, the big total. What percentage? Remember, they're saying what percentage of something, then that must be the denominator. So the big total of the amount deposited is at the bottom. So that was 2,239 Rand and 10 cents. And we're going to multiply that all by 100, and we're going to say that gives us a percentage of 1,4175338. No. All of those numbers after, we need to round off. Remember, in the front of your booklet, when you get your exam, it will give you instructions about where to round off to. If you look at previous exam papers, it's not likely they're going to change. It's usually to 2 decimal places, unless the question specifically tells you otherwise. So we're going to round off to 2 decimal places here, and we're going to say that means it's 1,4. Let's look at the calculator again. 4, is it 1 or 2? Well, we look at the third place, and it's 7, and the next one is 5. The next one doesn't really matter. The third place after the comma, it's 417. It's above 5. So that means that the 1 becomes a 2, and we're going to write it as 1,42. Can we leave it there? No, never, not allowed, because we must put in the percentage sign. The percentage sign tells us that we've converted it to a percentage. It's out of 100. It tells us that for every 1 Rand that we've got, or every 100 Rand, we've spent 1 Rand 42 as the deposit fee. So for every 100 Rand we deposit, 1 Rand 42 we get charged for that. Okay, and so that's why it's come up to quite a big amount of 31 Rand 74, because it's the percentage. It's 1,42%. Got it? Right. Last part of this first question, and we don't want to go on too long, but what we need to do is answer this question. It says, write down the approximate number of weeks that this part of the bank statement covers. So guys, let's go back to the table that we got here. And we were told this is the 19th. And it ends on the 2nd. So now look at it. It's April, the 4th month. And we know that April has 30 days. So from the 19th, let's pretend, I don't know what year, well, it does tell you it was 2013, and it says that too over here, but we haven't got a calendar in front of us, we can't look at it. But we know that we started on the 19th. So let's add 7 to 19. So we add 7 to 19, and that takes us to the 26th. Now, if I add 4, that will take me to 30. Do you get me? So that will take me to the 30th of April. See what I'm doing? So this is 1 week, and now I've got half of the next week. And how far do I go? I only go to the 2nd of May. The 2nd of May, which means that I'm going to add another 2 days over here. So that one and that one adds together to give me 6 days. So how many weeks approximately? Now look at the question again. It says the approximate number of weeks that this part of the bank statement. So we know that it's going to be a total of 13 days, which would be 14 days would be 2 weeks. But it's almost 2 weeks. So we can just say that we are approximately, we're rounding off, we're estimating approximately 2 weeks. Okay, because we're saying it's 13 days. We've counted the days, and it's from the 19th to the 2nd, approximately 2 weeks. Other way of doing it, the 19th is past the middle of the month. Most months are just about 4 weeks long. So if it's past the middle of the month, it's halfway. So you can do it very quickly and just say, well, it's past the middle of the month, it's about 2 weeks. Okay, but I've done it a little bit more detail there, and I hope you've got that. Right. Luni, are there any people that have given me an answer for B yet?
No, there was just an answer for A.
Okay, but we gave the answer for A. Did they give me the same answers I got?
Did you get 31194.57?
Where did I do it? I said A. I got A was... No, I didn't get 3-1.
No, it was just the calculation minus 850.00.
Yes, that's right.
Is equal to 30344.57. No?
Look what I did. I must have done something wrong there. Let's correct that very quickly. So let's just make sure that we didn't write it down wrong, and we've got it right. So Luni, thank you for that. And let's write it in properly and say 3-1. I must have not checked the calculator. One very good point to make note of. It couldn't be the answer that was there on the board, and I was just rushing to get to the ad break, and that was silly. 5-7 minus 850, and let's get the right answer now. Yes, there we go. You see, it does help to check. It tells us it's 30344.
344.57.
Okay. 344.57. Very, very good and very important point. Okay, so let's go and do B now, and hopefully we can get this right. Because what we need to know is which one was the bigger one. The bigger one was the 337. 33798, 11, and we're going to subtract from that 33540, 65.
Okay, there's an answer for B.
Yes?
B is equal to 33798.11, oh, minus 3354, which is equal to 257.47.
Excellent. So that's exactly what I've got. 257. So B is 257, and the cents was 47. Okay, and guys, remember that this is the amount that was subtracted. If we want to check our answer, what can we do? We can take B and we can subtract it from our initial one. So we can take B and subtract it from that and check that we've got the right answer. Always very important to check. Okay, don't forget it in your exam. Don't check directly after you finish the question, but if you finish the paper, go back and do all those checks, one at a time. Okay. Right, Luni, I think it's time to move on to question number 2.
Yes.
Because this is all about measurement. And it's a Mareka who's doing baking in a coffee shop. And she owns a coffee shop and she serves this something very interesting. Mixed berry and almond Pollentina cake. Have you ever heard of Pollentina cake?
Never.
No. Strange that it's there. But guys, it sounds like it's quite yummy. Mixed berry, and you'll see what the ingredients are. Okay, but maybe if you don't like nuts and fruit, maybe it's not so good. And what she does is she bakes these in espresso cups. So she doesn't make coffee in them. She makes this cake and she puts it into the cup, and then you get this individual serving in the cup. Quite a nice idea, eh? Now, so look what it is made in her coffee shop. So you get the coffee, and there's the cake in the coffee, and this is what she needs. She needs 6 egg whites, so she separates the eggs and the white. She reuses the yolks for scrambled eggs or for something else, for making mayonnaise. It even said that in the paper. 140 grams of butter, 140 grams of caster sugar, 140 grams of ground almonds, nuts, 250 grams of fat-free cottage cheese, 75 grams of frozen berry mix, and 75 grams of polenta. Okay? Now, polenta, I'm not sure about, but Luni can perhaps look it up for us and we can see what polenta is. I meant to look it up after reading this question. It tells us you must bake this at 356 degrees Fahrenheit until this cake is light brown and it's fluffy and it's very nice. And that will last between 30 to 40 minutes, depending on the size of your oven. So, what questions have we got to answer now? So the first question tells us, express the baking temperature of 356 degrees Fahrenheit in degrees Celsius. You need to know what that silly little 0 and an F means, and the silly little 0 and the C. Degrees Fahrenheit, degrees Celsius. The one that we use on a daily basis, if you look at the weather report, or you look at even a temperature, is degrees Celsius. People talk more about degrees Celsius in this country. You go to America, some other parts of the world, they talk about Fahrenheit temperature. Now, they tell you in the question how to convert. There's the conversion factor. It's not a straightforward conversion. You take the temperature in degrees Fahrenheit, you subtract 32, and you divide by 1,8. So let's just do that and let's get it out of the way with. We want to get degrees Celsius. And what we were told was it was 356 degrees Fahrenheit, and we must take away 32. And once we've done that, we must divide that whole thing by 1,8. That's exactly what it's told us to do. So let's not waste any time. Let's get the calculator out. We've substituted into the formula that they've given us. We're using the right one, the one that they have given us, and hopefully we're going to get this one right. 356 minus 32. And now, be careful. Don't just say divide by. Particularly if you're using a calculator that isn't a scientific calculator, where you can't separate things. I should really have put this whole thing in brackets if I was doing it in the right way. So if I was doing it normally, I would, of necessity, chosen to go back all the way over there and put it in brackets. Don't be afraid to use brackets. If you've got a calculator like this, only then you must obey what they've told you. You must do the subtraction, it was in brackets, and then divide the whole thing by 1,8. Now, the alternative to putting it in brackets, if I just delete that division sign, is I could get the answer. And now I take the answer and divide the answer by 1,8. And the answer is 180. 180 what? 180 degrees Celsius. Next question. It tells me fat-free cottage cheese is sold in quantities of 125 grams at $8.99. Calculate the cost of the fat-free cottage cheese required in the recipe. Now, let's go back to the recipe, and you'll see that in the recipe, we need 250 grams. So the first thing I'm going to ask myself is how many containers of fat-free cottage cheese am I going to need? Let's do it, and then we can make sure that we've got it right. So we know that we need 250. That's how much we need. How much are they sold? In 125. So they're 125 grams. That's how they're sold. And we're going to divide that into the 250 by 125, 250, because that's what we need. How many parts can fit into that? How many 125 parts can we fit in? Use the calculator and you see you get 2. So now we know that there are 2 parts. What's going to be the cost? The cost is going to be 2 times the cost of 1, which was $8.99. Don't be tempted to try and do that in your head. 2 times $8.99. Well, it's almost 9 Rand. 2 times 9 is 18. So we need to be very close to 18. Let's see if we are. Equals, are we? Yes, there we are. 17.98, which equals 17 Rand 98 cents. Okay, Looney, I think it's time for another break.
All righty then. Mindsetters, let's take a very quick break and we'll see you straight after this. Welcome back, Mindsetters. Time for your lesson with John. John.
Thanks, Looney. Guys, we're into this stuff. We had so many questions planned and we're running out of time at a rapid rate. Let's see if we can get one more question done as part of the recipe from Mareka. Looney's just told me that polenta is a mixture of corn flour and it's like somebody else said, James said it's a bit like pap. I don't think it's quite like pap, but anyway, it's corn flour. So you mix it in and you make a bread from it. Okay, here's a very important but interesting question. The next one, 2.3. It says, given simplest form, the ratio of polenta to mixed frozen berries. So what we're going to have to do is going back to the recipe, and we're going to have to say, what was the ratio between mixed frozen berries and polenta? So it's 75 grams and 25 grams. So let's just do that. And let's pick it up. 75 grams of berries and 25 grams. Have I got it right, the right way around? Looney, were you watching?
No.
No, you weren't. Let me just check now. Watch, let's get the recipe right. I thought because it was cooking you would watch. 25 grams of polenta. So let's see. Did I write it down right? 25 grams. Yes, I did. 25 grams of polenta. So whenever we're given a question like this and it's asking for ratio in its simplest form, remember you want to get something to be 1. And so what you do is you look for the smallest one. And we recognize that's the 25 grams. So we say 25 grams, and we divide 25 grams on this side. What you do to the one, you must do to the other. So we get a 1 over here. And what do we get when we say 75 divided by 25? You get a 3. So what's the ratio of berries? It's 3 parts of berries to 1 part of polenta. So the ratio is 3:1. Now, ratios are very interesting and they're very important for Maths Lit because there's so many things that they come up. Here we had it with cooking. You can get it with scale on a map. You can get it all over the place. So make sure you've revised how to do calculations with percentage and ratio. That was the main part of this question. And conversions of measurement, obviously. So an empty espresso cup, this is an interesting question as well, weighs 116 grams. So that's our starting mass. So Mareka uses espresso cups to weigh the correct amount of caster sugar required in the recipe. Write down the reading on the kitchen scale when the correct amount of caster sugar is in the cup. So we want to know what this 116 grams is plus the sugar. That's what we must find out. What's it going to read? So let's go back to the recipe and let's see in the recipe the caster sugar was 140 grams. So can you see just by reading off the recipe we can see we want 116 grams plus 140 grams and we can work it out. And as long as we copied it down correctly, and I'm going to check that I did, plus 140, what do we get? 256. So the scale reading is going to read 256 grams. Please make sure that you check your answers correct, that you've answered correctly. So it says, when the correct amount of sugar, write down the reading on the scale. So we must say, reading on the scale is going to be 256 grams. Let me make absolutely sure that it was 140. 140, yes, it was. We got it right. Great. Last one with Mareka. And then we're going to do the challenge question. So Mareka places these cakes in the oven at 1440. Another way of saying 1440 is 2:40 p.m. Or if in English, if we were using words, we would say that is 20 minutes to 3 in the afternoon. So you get the idea of where we are. Next thing, she takes the cakes out after 35 minutes. What we've got to do is determine the time at which she took the cake out. So what we want to do is we want to add 35 minutes to this. So if we added 20 minutes, we would be at 3 o'clock. But we wanted to add 35 minutes. So 35, if we take 35 minus 20, that will leave us with 15 minutes. Let's just check that. Show you that I'm doing it right. 35 minutes, and if we take away 20, because it was 20 to 3, that will give us 15 minutes. So I guess that it's going to be 15:15. Or another way we're going to say it, if we write down 3:15 p.m., or if we say 3:15. All of those are the same answer, and they're exactly the same, and they will be correct. Okay, so make sure you understand about time. Do the calculations carefully, break them apart, and check them to make sure that you've got them right. Okay, Luni, challenge question.
Yes.
Have we got any answers?
Yes,
You've had
we
some
do.
answers, eh? Mm-hmm. Okay, let's see if we can get this and we can work it out. So we're wanting to find the population in 2011. We know that there's a negative growth rate. So we're going to put minus 0.412%. Okay? And we're going to say that is equal to the population in 2012, which is 48,810,000 and 427 minus the thing that we don't know, which was the pop in 2011, and that must stay under there. And then we've got the population in 2011 over here, and we've got 100 over 1. Now, this percentage over here, what does that mean? Well, if we want to take it away and take it to a normal number, then what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to say it's that divided by 100. So that divided by 100, because that's what percent means. Now, if you look at this side, we've got a multiply by 100, and on this side we've got a divide by 100, and we now need to balance this out. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply through by 100 to try and get some things onto them, to themselves, by themselves at least. So I'm going to multiply by 100. I'm going to say minus 0.412 is equal to this 48,810,427 minus the population in 2011. And I'm going to put that over there. And there I'm going to say this has to be divided by the population in 2011. And hopefully we can sort it out. And we're going to multiply by 100, multiplied by 100. And let's hope that this is all going to work out. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to multiply by the population in 2011. So we don't deal with fractions. So we're going to say population in 2011 multiplied by negative 0,412 is equal to, now, 48,810,427, and we've got to multiply this by 100, multiply by 100 again, and then we're going to say minus the population, and it's getting very messy, in 2011, multiplied by 100, multiplied by 100. Now, I'm a little stuck at this point, but I think we can get there. I think we're almost there. If we just don't panic, and I was beginning to panic, but I think I'm okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to write this as a number here, 48,810,427 times, and it's 100 times 100. 100 times 100 is going to give me 4 zeros. So I'm going to leave it like that for the moment. I'm going to add this to both sides. So this was negative 0,412 times the population of 2011. And here I'm going to add population of 2011. Now, I hope you can see that when you do that, this is like adding 1, and we're going to subtract from 1, and we're going to say, here we go. We're going to say 1 minus 0,412 is going to give me this fraction. This is going to be 0,588. I hope I'm doing this right. 588 population of 2011, which is equal to this huge number, okay? And we're going to put 58,810,427 times 100 times another 100, and we're in that ballpark. We're almost done. What's the last thing we're going to do? We're going to divide both sides by this 0,588. So the population of 2011 is going to be this big number, and I'm going to put it onto the calculator in a minute, and we're going to try and work it out. So it goes 48,810,427 times 100 times another 100, and we're going to say that's equal, and then divide by the amount that we need to, 0,588 equals, and that doesn't look right at all. It definitely doesn't look. I've made a mistake somewhere, guys. I'll have to post it on Facebook. I will get the answer. I do need to check it, and as I was thinking about it, it didn't look very right to me. So I've struggled a little bit, and I'm sorry about that, but I'm not going to tell you that that's the right answer. Think when you get an answer that is totally unrealistic, you make sure that you say, no, there's something wrong here. I need to go back to the first point. Now, Looney, there are some other questions that we've got, but are there any questions from our viewers?
No, it was just that one for paper 2 that you said it
Okay,
must be asked
right. So there was one person, let's just pick it up. They did ask about doing tree diagrams. Now, tree diagrams aren't usually asked in paper 1, and they do take a little bit of time. So I'll make sure that there's a tree diagram question in paper 2, and we'll do it on Wednesday afternoon. And I think we've got time to do one last question, and we'll choose the shorter of the two. We've got question 4 and question 3. So let's do question 4, because I think it's slightly shorter. We've got about 5 minutes left. So the results of the survey, let's just read the whole question. Makes a lot of sense when you do that. Mr. Reddy gave his maths class, mathematics learners, an assignment to conduct a small survey on how much pocket money boys and girls in the class spent during the lunch break at school on a particular day. So they chose a day. They said, right, today, how much money are you going to spend on lunch? And this is what they found out, specifically in different categories according to whether they were boys or girls. So here are the raw scores. There was a 9, there was a 10, there was a 14, there was a 16, there was a 25. And then if you look over here, and you'll notice they've done very nicely because they've done it in increasing order. 10, 11, 25, 30. So that's quite nice. So the first thing that we're asked to do is to write down the total number of learners that were surveyed. So if I count them, I'm going to count. Now, be aware of something. When we're counting, let's not just do something rushed and haphazardly. Let's make sure that we cross them off and we tally them. So you can be asked to do this to make a tally of a set of numbers. So we're going to say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And so we're going to do one tally. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we know that we've got 5. Now let's go to the next one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you can see that's very nice. We can say that this was spent by the boys. There were 15 boys. Let's match it with the girls now. Let's use pink for the girls. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's one tally. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that's the second tally. And the next one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and there's one left over. So that tells us very clearly that there are 16 girls. So we've got the numbers correct. It says write down the total number. So the total, we've got boys at 15 equal 15 and girls at 16, which means that the total is equal to 31 overall. Now, write down the modal amount spent by the boys. Now, remember what mode is? It's the common number. It's the number that is the most. Okay? So which number appears the most in that list? And I think you can see just by looking at it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 12s are there. So the mode for the boys is 12. Well, the next thing it says calculate the mean amount of the money spent by the girls. So the mean, just to tell you how to do it, we won't have time to do it. We've got to add all these up. You've got to add them and then divide by 16 girls at least. Last question that I'm going to have time to do today is there was another question I wanted to do, the median. The median amount spent by the girls. Now, guys, here we've got to do this. And this is the very last thing I'm going to do. So bear with me. We're going to take our things, make sure they're arranged from smallest to biggest, and then we're going to cross them off from there to there, and we'll find that the median is between those two. We take 10 plus 11, divide by 2, and we get the median as 10.5. Looney, I'm out of time. Sorry we had to rush. And we'll see you again sometime soon.
All right. Mindsetters, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you, John, for the great lesson. Don't forget to not tune out of the lesson. You must tune in because we still have more Mathslet coming up. We have calculations with numbers as well as measurement. I'll post all the links on our Facebook page to download and view the notes. So make sure you check out our Facebook page for the notes for the upcoming lessons. But from us, until next time, we're wishing you everything of the best for your exam preparations. Remember, we're here with you step by step until you get distinctions and A's and lovely marks for your exams. We love you very much, guys, and thank you so much for tuning in. But from us, until next time, goodbye.